join is not there.
Okay, try again. I just got on to ctccall.com.
Okay, let me just close this and restart it.
Okay.
Um, because yeah, it's not showing me anything. And I was like, well, that's a problem.
Hat on. I look like I haven't even showered since I worked out.
I'm sure you look beautiful. You always do.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not even showing up anymore.
It's so weird. I have three people in the waiting room.
You know what? Let me just go to ctccall.com.
Yeah, I would
I'll
do
just do
that.
that.
Okay.
That's just so strange. Okay. I usually just click join and there we go.
Ah,
Um,
there you are.
okay, I'm here. Hi.
Hey. All right. I think you're muted.
Here we go. Okay. I just said that was really weird. Like it didn't even show up. It had it on my calendar, but not,
Oh,
I
I
couldn't,
deleted all of the calendar invites and then
that's
sent something out.
why.
Yeah, so if you still have
That's
it, it
why.
didn't get deleted. That makes sense.
So it was one that I had that's what it was. It was one that I had put on my calendar before. So
Okay.
that 100% what it is. Okay. That makes me feel better. I was like, what did I do? Okay. Sweet. Awesome. We're good.
All right, let's start letting people in then.
Let's do it.
And if I pop off, it's not because what you said wasn't good.
I'm totally gonna take it that way. Like, dang, I
Super
bombed.
offended, right? Ah.
So funny. Hey, everybody. It is nine, like straight up 9 o'clock, and it's Friday, which is my favorite, because that means Mando Grotto Fridays. Everybody has to go. And I'm very excited to start us off with our gratitude today. Do we have any basketball fans in the room today? Anybody watching an amazing NCAA tournament game last night? Tech was down by 16, like a minute and a half left. We're still down by 6, came out and won by 2 in overtime. And it was amazing. I'm exhausted today because it was midnight when it was over, but I don't care. It was worth it. It took me a long time to calm down and go to sleep after that one, but it was fantastic. Like one of the best basketball games ever. So that's my gratitude for today. Who
I
is
don't think you've
next?
ever had so much energy with your gratitude.
Oh man. Well, that's kind of sad. I'm also sleep deprived, so it's probably still running on a little bit of that adrenaline, but go back and watch it. Even if you're not a basketball fan, go watch the highlights. It's ridiculous. Like it was an incredible game. So we're still pretty excited. Lubbock is kind of on fire today for excitement. So it's fun. It was a fun night. So who else?
I can go. I am super excited. My daughter's home from Boston. We're gonna have all three of our kids in the room together tomorrow. Well, tonight and tomorrow. So just my mom heart is very full right now and trying to just get all the things done real quick today so I can be fully present for 24 to 48 hours, whatever I've got with them.
That's awesome. I love that for you. That's really awesome. Who is next?
I'm thankful for work things and for personal, but I've got several appointments, and I've got an open house this weekend, so that's good. And then I'm also my grandma heart because I get to see I probably get to see all my grandkids, I'm assuming this weekend. So, or because Michelle's thing there. Um, so anyhow, I'm excited about that too. So I got a lot of things to be thankful for.
That's awesome. I love that. All right. Who's up next?
I wasn't watching basketball. I was watching baseball yesterday. I always enjoy the opening day with my folks. So Enjoyed that.
Nice. My daughter, my oldest, she's 14. She could care less about sports, but in one of her classes, we're big sports. The rest of us love all of it. So in one of her classes yesterday, her teacher said, "Who knows what today is?" And everyone's like, "Thursday?" And she's like, "I know, it's opening day." And she got like a free bonus 100 because she knew what it was. I was
Good
like,
for her.
at least you pay attention. You might not like it, but at least you know what's going on. All right, who is up next?
I'm grateful to have this in my home so
Nice.
I don't have to go to the gym because I would never make time and then I would be an awfully mean person.
I can't imagine you being mean because I know you. But that is really awesome. You can be very direct, but you're not mean. You have a good heart behind it. I love that. All right, who else? Everybody has to go. It's Friday. I'll start calling on people.
I'll go. I've got two listings coming up next week, and then I go in Florida, of course, and hoping they'll sell while I'm on vacation. So,
That's
and just grateful for friends. Just really grateful for my friends.
awesome. Congrats on those listings.
Thank you.
Jeremy, were you getting ready to unmute?
Yeah, sure. I am grateful for my pipeline right now. It's doing really good. Everybody's like 6 months ahead, 3 months ahead, that, but it's like I'm still building it up, but it's good that I'm building it up. I'm happy about it.
That's awesome. That's really good. Kevin and Brooke, y'all the last two holdouts.
Good morning.
Hi.
Okay, I'm really grateful. This is gonna sound funny probably for like referrals for construction projects because I was supposed to have a listing go live this week and um a pipe burst right the day before. So drenched your ceiling. So I've got two contractors that like are on it quick, which is really nice. So
That's awesome when you can have the people that will respond quick and you know
yeah,
that you can get them there. That is a game changer.
it
So
is.
I'll be
Hopefully we'll
grateful
get
for that with you.
hopefully we'll get her live next week. So
Nice. Very nice. All right, Brooke. Maybe.
Sorry, I'm trying to get off mute while I'm driving down the interstate
Oh, careful. I probably would have let you.
and be safe at the same time. Uh, no, I'm just thankful and for we have really nice weather today, and have a new listing going live, and I set up like 7 buyer portals this week, so met some like um, nice couples and everything, and it's actually all been couples, so it's been a good week.
Good. That's awesome. Well, Brad, just in time to share your gratitudes or wins for the week. And yeah, you're the last one.
See, I had two closings and I got another buyer under contract this week.
Very nice. That's awesome. Good. Well, I have something to share with y'all today that has just been something on my mind a lot this week, just kind of a shift in words, maybe about how we talk to ourselves and questions we ask ourselves. So, how many of you, whether it is now or ever, so everyone should raise their hand, have had something that's just hard or you don't like to do, or you're just like, you know, you need to, but you don't want to do it, right? Everybody, all of us, right? And a lot of times we will go to someone, maybe it is a coach, maybe it's a friend, a team leader, someone, and we're talking through like, man, I know I need to be doing this thing, but I'm not doing it. And I just can't push past the mental side of it, right? Whether it's fear or anxiety, whatever it is. And the other person says, well, what's the worst that could happen if you do that, right? And you talk through all of the worst things, like what's the worst that could happen if you call that FSBO? Well, maybe they're tired of agents calling them, and so they get mad and they hang up on you. That maybe that's the worst. What's the worst that could happen if you actually call your database, like pick up the phone and make the calls? Maybe nobody answers. Maybe everyone's like, "Oh, you're a terrible agent." They're not going to say that, but maybe like, what is the worst that could happen? So we talk through all of these scenarios, and we kind of look like, okay, well, if that's the worst that could happen, I mean, still uncomfortable, but not terrible, right? We're not going to die. We're not going to die by making the calls. We're not going to die by going out and doing that open house. So we kind of figure out what is the least uncomfortable, and we just build up a mindset around that to accept that and like, okay, it's not that big a deal. Let's move on. Well, this week I don't even know what started it in my head. Um, but I was like, man, what if I started asking myself what is the best that could happen instead of what is the worst that could happen? And so I sat and did that around some things that I've been working on. Like, what is the best that can happen? Good gracious. When you start, I have never been great at dreaming. And there was an exercise in a class, bold, if you've ever done bold, where you have to like really dream like excessively big, like buying boats and vacation houses. And I'm very practical and I had a hard time with that. But when I started asking myself, what is the best that could happen? It's like those things, maybe not the boats and the vacation homes, but the bigger things started coming out. Because if I'm consistent with my lead gen, what is the best that could happen? I'm going to get a whole lot of new appointments and listings and signed clients and closings and paychecks. And what is all that going to do? Well, then people can get out of debt. I can get out of debt, pay off my house, take my family on vacation, start thinking about, paying for college and weddings and all the things, hopefully a long way away, but still all the things that keep me up at night, right? Um, if it started to do something inside me too, like whenever I ask, what's the worst that can happen? It's like, okay, I can deal with that small amount of fear or discomfort in my heart and just push through that, right? But whenever I started asking myself, what is the best that can happen? It got me excited. It got me excited to do those things that I didn't really want to do before. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to do these things because, man, look at what these possible outcomes could be. And it completely changed. Like that fear was not there anymore. That anxiety wasn't there anymore. And it was replaced by hope and excitement and joy and like, man, I get to go call this FSBO today. Like, let's do it. I didn't actually call a FSBO, but just that's an example. It completely changed everything for me. And I even have these conversations with my kids too, whenever they are worried about something or afraid of something. Like, well, what's the worst that could happen? And we talk through it. So I was talking to my daughter she's going out for track and wasn't real excited about it but wants to do it but kind of doesn't, and she's nervous. It's a new thing. And so we've had the what's the worst that can happen conversation around it, and it was not really going anywhere. It wasn't helping. That fear, that anxiety was still there. So last night we're talking about it again, and she says, actually, oh, we are recording. Okay, good. I just saw that and I was like, I don't think I pushed the button, but we're talking about it last night, and I'm like, okay, let's shift the conversation a little bit. If you go out for track, whether it's running, the throwing events, I don't know what all the events are, what is the best that could happen if you went and did that? And she looked at me, she's like, well, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd kind of get back into shape after quitting gym. And I was like, okay, what else? She's like, well, maybe I end up being really good at it. Maybe I love it. I'm like, all right, cool. What else? Like, let's keep it going. And she said, well, she said, Lala, she's my sister, her aunt, she got a scholarship for track. So maybe I could do that. And like, as a mom who's gonna have to pay for school, I like that line of thinking. So yes, maybe you go out there and get really good and get a scholarship. And I'm like, what else? She said, well, exercising that much and running that much. She was a gymnast and used to be in the gym 20 hours a week. She's since quit gym. She said, I was happier whenever I was in the gym that much and just working out all the time. Like I just felt better mentally, physically, everything. And if I join track and keep that going really well, maybe those feelings come back. Maybe I'm not bored. Maybe I am happier, less stress, all these things, the health benefits of it. So she started really diving into not just, maybe I have something to do after school, but like all like that, those are benefits that spread across all kinds of things, right? Financially, if scholarships, health benefits, mental health benefits, just so many things. And then she got excited about it. She was like, man, I'm going to talk to coach today and see when tryouts are. And she has avoided that conversation because she was just scared. But now she's excited. And it was so fun and so amazing to see that shift in her. And I was like, it's just the change of one little word, right? Worst to best. That's it. And asking what's the worst that can happen isn't a bad conversation because it puts things into perspective, right? It's like the worst that can happen if the worst thing that can happen if I pick up the phone and call someone is that they get mad and hang up on me. That's not that big of a deal, really, in the grand scheme of things. But as humans, we don't like rejection anyways. That's the top fear for anybody. If any fear that we have, 90% of the time, it can be rooted back to a fear of rejection. If we start shifting that from worst to best, it's the exact same activity. The outcome is still possibly the same. They still might hang up on you. It's not guaranteed that you're going to get those best outcomes, but it really does something powerful in your mind and in your heart to allow you to move forward with those things. So if we have any volunteers, I would love to talk through if there is something that you have in your business or life or anything right now that you've been just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Let's talk through it. Let's shift it and just do like a live, well, let's do it. Who has something? Anybody? Oh, Jeremy, are you saying it's on. I can't tell if you're
I'm driving. Yeah, I'm driving. So yeah, so I want to door knock.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've always asked myself what's the worst thing that can happen, and then I never actually I'd walk around the neighborhood, but never actually I'd get to that final point where I'm actually at the door and knocking. I
Yeah.
can't
So
courage up.
whenever you've asked yourself what is the worst that can happen, what are your answers?
Um, basically it's like nothing. I know nothing can happen. It's nothing is gonna go wrong with it. And I know that it's just that in my head, it's just like I know it's just I just got to do it, and that's how I drum up business. I know this, and then I'm like and then I kind of psych myself up and out of it,
Mhm. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh Jesus.
So, okay. So if you are out on your walk today and you actually go up to a door and knock on the door, what is the best that could happen?
Yeah, I want to sell my house tomorrow.
Okay, that's excellent. So if they open up the door and they say that, what does that do for you?
Uh, that actually helps me with um well, the first thing it would get money in my pocket, but then what money is to me, it would give me leverage to be able to start all the marketing tools that I want to do. And then on top of that, it would probably give me another confidence boost.
Nice. Okay. So if you have that extra money to pour back into your marketing and you have that confidence boost, what is that going to do for you?
Um, that would help me grow my business exponentially. Well, as long as I'm continuously doing the door knocking. And then the confidence boost is that the I would be able to say to myself, see, door knocking does work. Let's do it again.
Yeah, it makes everything easier, right? When we get that confidence. So imagine even whenever we say the words, like our brains, like we have a reaction inside, right? So how do you feel inside? Like, how does your heart feel right now versus like the worst, talking through that, but thinking through like, okay, I'm going to get a confidence boost. I'm going to get money for marketing. My business is going to grow. What does that do like for your emotions?
It does make it it creates less anxiety for myself.
Good.
Like I feel like it's less um weight on the shoulders if I frame it in that sense of mind.
Awesome. It's focusing on the positives, right?
Yeah.
Who else has one? This is fun.
I'm so excited by this, Audrey. Usually you're like, I don't like to do the mindset stuff. And this is like, there's so much science behind this.
Mhm.
Like you're literally, there's part of your brain that is the fear center, and then there's part of the brain that's kind of like the dreamer. And there's the logical part too. But like you're just tapping into both of those and balancing them out. That's exactly what this is doing. That's why you feel good about it, because you can get out of that fear center. It's so, I'm so excited that you're doing this. I love this stuff.
Thanks. It's out of my comfort zone, but I just got excited about it because it was just, I don't know, it kind of clicked in my brain while I was out on a walk. And I was like, gosh, that has changed everything for me this week about some things I've been working on, like that I have been fearful of that have helped me back from completing some things. Michelle probably knows. And so I'm just like, oh, but then once I shifted it, it just kind of kicked me into high gear on some stuff, and I've gotten some things done, and it's been amazing, and I'm excited. And it's just shifting that one little word. Then this morning, I tried to scroll back and find it because it went along with it. Um, I was scrolling through Instagram, and there I should have saved it, but science have proved there's truth to the verse Philippians 4:8, which it says, "Think on these things that are good, things that are," this is totally paraphrasing, by the way, so don't like open your Bibles and tell me that I'm quoting it wrong. But think on things that are good, think on things that are fruitful, think it's there science is proving that that is true. And this just kind of goes with that, right? Like, why are we focusing on what's the worst that can happen when we could be focusing on what is the best that can happen, the positive, happy, good incomes? Now, I'm not saying, also keep it in perspective. I'm not saying that the moment you open up that FISBO, they're going to instantly hire you on the spot and it's going to change your life. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you're going to instantly get those best outcomes. But the more that you do the things, the more that you know what the outcomes, the possibilities are, the more you're going to be consistent with the actions and you're going to get there anyways, right? It's it's just reframing things in your mind to make it joyful and excited and looking forward to the things that you were dreading 30 minutes ago when you were so wrapped up in, oh, well, what if that worst thing does happen, right? And even if it's just that a little bit of that anxiety lifted off of you, that how many of you have ever been in a moment where the anxiety is so strong that's like paralyzing, right? You can't breathe because the anxiety, the fear, the stress, it's like it freezes you so then you're just stuck. If it was, even if the anxiety is still there, but it was just lifted enough that you can breathe and move, man, that's big because at least you can do something, right? You're not frozen in that spot. And then once you've gotten a little bit of that, a little bit of steps, a few steps ahead, anxiety lifts because now you have that confidence boost. Now you're seeing some results. So then more anxiety lifts. So you keep on going, more confidence, less anxiety. And eventually you completely overcome that because you've got the success to prove that, oh, it wasn't that scary to begin with, or it wasn't that hard or that big of a deal. I just had to take a step. I just had to change the way I was thinking about it. So
All right, I'm gonna get vulnerable. You want to coach the coach?
let's do it.
Okay, so one of my biggest fears right now, I am not picking up the phone, and it's not necessarily because I'm afraid to have conversations. It's because I have our systems and processes where are not completely in place right now. coaching, agents on our team, mentoring other agents. And so my biggest fear is that I'm going to get too busy and I can't handle it all.
Okay. So let's start with the worst and we'll compare and contrast, right? What is the worst that could happen if you don't pick up that phone call? Pick up the phone and make those calls.
The worst that can happen, like what I'm afraid of, or what the worst that's going to happen in general. Like, I mean,
What's
obviously, I'm not going to have the business and I'm not going to make an income.
okay. So if you don't have the business or income, what's going to happen?
Well, then I'm going to have to make my daughter have a lot more in student loans.
Yeah.
Like not being able to necessarily retire on the timeline that we want or pay the bills.
What does it do also? I mean, you've got some amazing team members. If you're not picking up the phone and doing things and bringing in business, what's the worst that could happen? Like how does that affect them?
Because of the way we're structured, I don't know that that necessarily impacts them. It's more like if I do and I get busy, then it impacts me taking time away from them.
Mhm. Okay. So, all right. So let's shift that completely, right? What is the best that could happen if you pick up, knowing the systems aren't 100% perfect yet, knowing that yes, it might take time away from you. What is the best that could happen if you still picked up the phone and made those calls?
We get a bunch of deals, which is modeling obviously good behavior for the team, and then, or like good outcomes. And then potentially I get so much business that I do have to filter it down to them. And we're splitting stuff,
That's amazing.
generating leads for them.
Members, I'm sure would love, y'all aren't going to be sad about that, right? If she has so much business coming in that she's got to be like, hey, Peggy, hey, Kevin, come take this, right? These are good things. What else? If all that business is coming in, all that extra money is coming in, what else does that do for you? What's the best that could happen?
I mean, in the long run, it actually frees up my time because the more business I have, the more I can spread to others, which allows me to be a better leader and put more time and focus into the coaching and the business aspect and continuing to grow the team and grow more business for like help others grow.
So the thing that you're afraid of that's is going to happen of like pulling you away from your team is it's actually going to open up the potential for you to spend more time with your team, right?
Right.
Reality, here's the fear, and then here's the reality. The fear is this, but the reality is the exact opposite. So picking up the phone, getting more deals, getting that extra income coming in, it's going to put more deals in everybody's pockets because you're going to have more than you can handle. So you're going to have to leverage, right? And then you're going to be able to spend more time with your team, helping them grow their businesses, helping them do the things that the thing that you're doing right now, right? Just picking up the phone and doing it anyways. You're going to be able to help them through that and help them grow the way that you're with what you're going through now. So how does that feel thinking about it like that, like what is the best? Like how does that feel inside? Like I say in your heart, but it's like, just that fuzzy middle. I don't know what to
Right.
call that, but like how does that feel thinking about it like that? The possibilities, the potential of everything that you can do versus, well, what's the worst? Well, I'm not gonna have any business. What is the difference on the inside?
Yeah, it actually makes me feel good. Like there's a lot more, I don't even know. It just makes me super happy because that's my ultimate goal is to help my team be more successful and help them get to the top, to their goals. Um, yeah, it feels whole and complete. I don't know how else to say.
No, I understand. It's hard to describe that fuzzy middle, that fuzzy
Yeah.
space, right?
Right.
It's positive, it's lighter, it spreads joy and goodness to everybody, right? Which is
Right.
ultimately what we all want to do is positively impact the people and the world around us, right?
Yeah.
Look at the potential that you just dug into by just shifting that one thing in your mind, like, oh my gosh, look at all these lives. Like let go of, I mean, even forget about all the clients that you're going to be able to impact because that's huge. You're going to have such a great impact on every seller, every buyer that you help. Even not even taking in that into consideration, you've got Peggy and Kevin and Rochelle and Haley what is it gonna do for their lives? It's a trickle down, right?
Right.
Dunk at a boulder in the middle of a pond, and now you have these ripples. You're making ripples, and that's pretty awesome.
But
Well, we only have like 3 minutes left, but what do y'all think? Like, what are y'all's thoughts around this?
I like to say that um, I knew this. I knew this about like I get to do this in a change your mind frame of I get to do this, but I always forget to say I get to do this or this is like the change my instead of a negative question about myself or something like that. I always forget to frame it or don't know how to frame it into a positive question for myself. And this is really insightful for at least for me to be able to understand how to frame these types of questions to get a better outcome.
Nice. It's amazing how you can take the same question and just change one little word, and it completely shifts everything. And so now I'm like examining all the things. Like I'm one of those people who there's always a thought going on in my brain. My husband can sit on the couch, I can look at him and say, "What are you thinking about?" And he's like, "Literally nothing." I don't know what that's like. There's always something going in my head. But it has really just made me kind of examine those thoughts that come across and like, "Ooh, what if I took that and changed it? And what if I took that and changed it?" And now I'm like, "Man, what if I would have done this however many years ago?" But at least I'm doing it now, right? Just shifting one little thing, it's asking the same, right? Just shifting that one little thing can really make such a powerful difference in not just our mental, like our mindset, but for me, it has been like there's been a physical reaction to it. And that I think is what made me so excited about it. Like I felt a physical, like, oh my gosh, like lightning, it, like the anxiety lifted that. It's been, yeah. Peggy just like, I don't know what it was like lightning and she flashed and it's like, oh my goodness. She's really excited over there. Yeah. Well, thank y'all for a great week, for showing up all week and being vulnerable, Michelle, and willing to put the thoughts out there and you too, Jeremy. Like those, it's not always hard to share those things. So thank y'all. Go
Thank
have
you. Thanks. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye, Angela. Y'all have an awesome weekend and go ask yourself, what's the best? What's the best that can happen? So we will see y'all Monday for Mindset Monday with Matt. Bye, friends.